So guys, the second match day of the Champions League is almost upon us. Here's some stats and players from the first match day that you need to know. Let's get straight into it. So obviously Arsenal struggled on the road against Atalanta in their opening match. A big reason why they struggled to score any goals was because it had the third lowest stat in progressive passes with just 18. And when you compare this to last season, Arsenal were one of the leaders in the Champions League when it came to progressive passes. It's a crucial part of their playing style, but they had a lot against them. Atalanta's aggressive man marking and high press. And of course, their midfield looked slightly different. With the absence of Martin Odegaard, the midfield consisted of Declan Rice and Thomas Partey. Rice admitted he struggled with the ball, and it's not Thomas Partey's key aerial strength either. Obviously, it's just the first game, but we can see how not having Odegaard or an attacking midfielder in the team negatively impacts Arsenal when it comes to ball progression and creating opportunities to score. Young winger for PSV, Johan Bakayoko received high usage as they faced Juventus in their opener. In fact, he received the highest target share of any player, with 23 progressive passes received, and is obviously the focal point of their attack. They have a playmaker in Malika Tillman, but Johan Bakayoko is the real deal, and I'm glad PSV recognises this, because although they lost 3-1 away from home, he provided an assist against a very stingy Juventus defence. His potential is through the ceiling. They're at home to Sporting Lisbon in their next matchup, which should provide more favourable opportunities for Johan on that right wing. Now this next player is on track to be one of the best dribblers in Europe, but before we cover him, please take a quick second to like and subscribe in order to stay tuned to our weekly videos on the channel. We need to pay attention to Edon Zhegrova because he leads the Champions League in attempted and successful take-ons. Unfortunately, none of those dribbles amounted to any assists or goals. They had an early red card and suffered a 2-0 defeat to Sporting Lisbon. They have a tough schedule ahead with Real Madrid, Atletico, followed by Juventus, so it's highly likely that another player will lead the league in both attempts and successful dribbles by the end of the next match day. And that next player could be Rafael Leao, because he is the second player to lead the league in attempted and successful take-ons. And this was up against a right-back in Trent Alexander-Arnold, who receives a lot of criticism for his defensive abilities. But in this matchup, Trent was able to neutralise one of the most dangerous wingers in the world, so we have to give Trent his flowers, and how his performance contributed to Liverpool's 3-1 victory over AC Milan away from home. Expect a lot more from Leao up against Jeremy Frimpong as Milan take on Bayer Leverkusen. Arne Engels had a dream debut for Celtic as they battered Bratislava 5-1 at home. He had an impressive game because he's now only one of 2 players in Celtic history to score and assist a goal in the Champions League. And this was just his debut. He only arrived to the club from Augsburg over the summer as a 21-year-old central midfielder from Belgium. Celtics faced Dortmund in their next matchup, a team that Engels made his debut against back in 2023 as a 19-year-old in the Bundesliga. It was a high-scoring game, 4-3 loss, but he managed to provide an assist up against Jude Bellingham. Obviously, this is a different situation with Celtic, but Engels has shown signs of a productive and consistent midfielder, and he needs to be on everyone's radar. Another player that needs to be on our radar is this 23-year-old right-back from Brazil, because on his first game in the Champions League, he earned a Man of the Match award as Monaco defeated Barcelona 2-1 at home, assisted all Monaco's goals, 2 aerial duels, and 31 accurate passes. Vanderson has a lot of potential to be a highly rated right back in Europe, and Monaco have gifted players. They're well coached, second in League R at the time of recording, and they have a favourable schedule in the Champions League. Make sure he's on your radar. I also want to highlight the addition of Vincent Kompany and Michael Olise, as they both made their debut for Bayern Munich in the Champions League in style. Obviously, Musiala's the focal point, and the team already has gifted and proven attacking players. But I'm surprised by this level of usage and production from Olise, especially in the Champions League. 58 minutes in a 9-2 blowout against Dynamo Zagreb, scored 2 goals. But just as or even more impressive is Vincent Kompany, setting the tone early on his managerial position at Bayern. Kompany received a ton of criticism, but this is the best start that we've seen from a Bayern coach in 8 years, reclaimed leadership in both the Bundesliga and Champions League, setting the tone, letting the whole of Germany and Europe know that Bayern are back and better than they were in recent seasons. That's gonna do it for Champions League stats for match day 2. Stay tuned for the next one, guys.